Thank you. I've heard you say on your tapes that the mind only recognizes object consciousness. It doesn't, it's bored with enlightenment and but past, future stuff. My question is that because the mind is an object, namely my brain? I feel like I have a noisy, or at least distracting roommate. And as you said, I'm not the thinker. And maybe this question hopefully has a short answer, but so I'm just aware of it. And I guess that's, I wonder if I had more of that question. It's like an organ, the way my heart pumps blood or my lungs breathe, my brain generates judgment and thought. And
well, the brain is a physical organ, of course, but then what happens in the brain are thoughts. And the interesting thing is, although scientists have examined the brain in great detail, it's still a huge mystery of how exactly the brain functions to all scientists who are honest and don't have heard enough.
But I'm aware of it.
Yes.
It's a funny thing.
Yes. So, please take a seat because we don't know how long the answer will be. Just as an aside, we think we know a lot about the brain, but of course we don't. Scientists don't even know yet what a thought is. No scientist knows what a thought is, how, in their opinion, how the brain generates consciousness. They don't, and they might not even go there. They may even, some scientists deny that there is such a thing as consciousness. So, object consciousness is a term I sometimes use. Anything that has form is an object, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical object. Every thought is a thought form. It's an energy field, and I would say that probably a thought has some physical part and is halfway between the physical and non-physical realm. A thought is, in any case, a thought is a thought form. It comes and then it dissolves, and then another one comes and it dissolves. So object consciousness is to be aware only of the forms that arise in your mind, and that's all that fills your consciousness. Perhaps to better put, your entire consciousness is absorbed by thought forms. So there's nothing else, it seems, left. The entire consciousness is absorbed by that. And that's the normal state for many humans. Perhaps when I say entire is not totally true. For many humans there are tiny spaces that are there in their lives when there is a freedom from thought forms, but they are not aware of that except as a background. They are aware of it indirectly as occasional feelings of peace, joy, aliveness, love, compassion. Occasional feelings that come in of truly relating to another human briefly. So all those things that they can only come through in the gaps between thoughts. And there are some humans who no longer experience joy, love, a deep sense of aliveness. They don't experience it anymore. And so why not? Because they don't even have the smallest gaps anymore in the stream of thought. It's just a stream of thought, so there's no joy anymore. There's no love anymore, there's no empathy, can't be. There's only object consciousness. One thing after another arises, and one thing is replaced by another thing, and everything is a thought or an emotion that goes with the thought, and that goes on and on and on, and they never stop, and they never really look at anything except through the veil of all the stuff in their minds, which are all objects in consciousness. An awful fate. I don't know what the percentage of humans is who are suffering from that. It's considerable. But others who are still have a little bit of spaciousness in between. They don't know it. As I said, they only know it indirectly. Occasionally they feel joyful, perhaps only for brief moments. Oh, isn't it nice? They don't realize when they say, wow. For a moment, they're not thinking. It's just the spaciousness has opened up. Or they look at a little child and they go, oh, 3 seconds of no thought. Or they wake up in the morning and before they start thinking, they go, oh. They feel alive and joyful for perhaps 1 minute. And then the mind says, let me remember what my problems are. And then the object consciousness arises. So there's space consciousness is consciousness without thought, which is why we're here. That's the essence of the teaching. It all comes down to that. Sometimes I put it in slightly different words, but this is what it is. And we can then recognize that a lot of the time there's object consciousness. To recognize object consciousness, there needs to be a minimum of space consciousness. Without a minimum of space consciousness, you don't even know that you are trapped in object consciousness. And that's the essence of unconsciousness. So, yes, the brain is a physical object, but a thought is also a semi-physical object. So, do you realize what your task is in this world? Is to invite more of that space consciousness into your life, so that you are not totally trapped any longer in object consciousness. That is your task. You know that. Yeah. That's all you need to know.